it's time for the Selectmen's update. This was for the meeting that happened on Wednesday, February 6th. The Board of Selectmen started at 6:15 with executive session about some issues that are going on with certain land purchases and some legal issues. Once it comes out of executive session, we'll be able to share with you in more detail. We started our meeting at 7 p.m. and we were able to appoint a new member to the Sustainability Committee. And it was Ashwin, and I'm not going to say the last name because I know I will butcher it, but thank you, Ashwin, for stepping up and coming forward to be part of the State Sustainability Committee, as we've just lost a member. From there, we had a legal update by Lisa Mead, who is our head of our legal counsel. We hire a firm to support us rather than having our own lawyer in town. We had updates about many of the programs that are going on. She's been spending, and her firm has been spending a lot of time on some of the land purchases that have been going on, as well as some of the agreements going on with developers, as well as some grants and programs that are going on for the downtown project and other projects here in town. From there, we went into and got an update from Jennifer Wolfing. Jennifer is the Director of Human Services. She's been on board just over about a year. She manages the people who help with human services within town, so people at our community center. She's currently working on two major initiatives. One is a hoarding task force. So she works with other people, about 13 other groups, 13 other people, to manage these cases. There's about 13 of them in town. And it's always interesting to me how these cases get known. One of the cases was someone who was a pizza driver, had noticed the issue and was able to reach out, and we now are able to help that family. The other major initiative is a substance abuse response time. So they're doing training with Narcan, as well as talking about and seeing different ways that we can support people who are dealing with substance abuse. From there, we went into a liquor license violation. This was for Honto. This was a violation that happened back on October 28th. Through police reports, we heard that there was a scuffle fight inside, not really a fight, but a scuffle inside the bar. Someone had pulled a knife at some point, not sure what it was for. Then there was word that a gun had been drawn. And they came before us as the licensing board because part of their job as people who hold liquor licenses is to make sure that they're keeping their patrons safe. So if an issue like this comes up, it's partly their responsibility to call the police as well as patrons. So after much discussion and debate, and a thank you to the officers that were involved, as well as to Chief Davis for coming to speak with us and the detective, the decision was made to give them a suspension of 3 nights. So Honto will not be able to be selling liquor on the 18th of February, the 28th of February, and the 9th of March. So one night is a Monday, one night is a Thursday, and one night is a Saturday. We felt that they had to do one Saturday night because that was when the incident occurred. So be prepared if you're planning on going to Honto on those evenings. On February 18th, February 28th, and March 9th, that they will not be allowed to sell liquor. We take it very seriously when a violation like this occurs. As selectmen, we feel that it's hard, and we need to make sure that if people are having a liquor license, they are doing it correctly and they are keeping their patrons safe. From there, we went into our consent agenda. We had a number of new appointments. We had a parade permit. We also then reviewed and voted on the contract with our DPW, our Department of Public Works directors, our Department of Public Work employees, talked about their increases, and then just the timing and the percentages related to that. We then went into old and new business. We discussed our stormwater workshop. It will be happening on March 5th at 6:30 downstairs in the town hall. It's a discussion with our stormwater committee, as well as the public is invited to discuss how our stormwater rates are going to be applied and created. We created a stormwater fund, enterprise fund, back at the November town meeting with the understanding that we still had to decide how the rates were going to be created and determined. And that's what this meeting is about. And then the idea will be to try and present it to the community on March 6th. at our selectmen's meeting. We also had an update on the Eversource intervenor status. If you remember back in the fall, Eversource came to us regarding a pipeline that they are looking to replace that comes through Ashland from one border to the other. This is a pipe that's just a transmission line. It does not supply any gas to Ashland, and we're in the process of talking about how we want to be in intervenor status and how we can work with Eversource to make this least disruptive for the Ashland community, but also make it safe for the Ashland community. We then discussed the status of the Charter Review Committee, and we were able to dissolve that committee. They did their work after many years, and we gave them our thanks. They did a very big job in regarding every aspect of reviewing our charter. Some changes were made and voted on at our November town meeting. We signed the lease for the corner spot, so that will be continuing for another year. We heard from a lot of people that they feel that the corner spot is very important and a great place to go in the summer, so that will be happening for at least one more year. The Affordable Housing Committee, the Affordable Housing Trust, actually is looking to try and do some affordable housing in downtown, and at some point it may include the corner spot. We appointed 2 members of the Board of Selectmen to the Historical Commission. This is a commission that, should a demolition delay come in or other bits of information or other issues related to historical properties, we did not have enough people who were sitting on the commission, so we appointed 2 members of the Board of Selectmen. If you are at all interested in historic preservation or historic buildings, please consider submitting a volunteer form to be part of the Historical Commission. We also reviewed and adopted our revised sign policy. This is for the small signs, the very temporary signs that people put up all over town for different events. And this is only related to Ashland town-owned property. If you want to have one of those signs on your piece of property for as long as you'd like, you can do that. This also does not relate to political signs who have their own timing as to how long they can be out on private property. So this is for signs, temporary signs on Ashland town property. It also relates to the signboards that are over on intersection of Union and Summer and over on Pond Street. So if you have questions on that, you can pull that up on the town website. We then had a town manager report. We talked about the off-session, off-camera planning workshop that we as selectmen did with our town manager. We had a great document that talked about all the issues and things we were talking about, and that will be up on our website. We had a fiscal year 2020 budget update, good news coming from the governor's office, and hopefully good news coming forward. We also talked about the Warren District Project Manager. And then the last update, and this has been out for about a week already, is that our police chief, Craig Davis, is retiring from the Ashland Police Department. He's going into private sector as of March 22nd. So we plan on bringing the chief back at some point in one of our March meetings before he leaves, but if you see him around town, please congratulate him. And you'll be getting an update at our future meeting as to the process in how we're going to hire a new police chief. And that was the meeting on this February 6th. I do want to pass along, it's always sad when someone passes. We have 2 women who've recently passed. Barbara Hescock, who was a big part of the initial Ashland Farmers Market, and also Lois Bennett. If you drive through town and you feel that you enjoy all the flowers that our garden club does, Lois Bennett had always been a big part of that. So our thoughts go out to both of their families because they were a big part of Ashland. And that wraps up this Selectmen's Update.